Hey guys, welcome back. I have another tutorial video for you. This is going to be a Schoology part 2. So if you have not watched my Schoology crash course video that I posted last week, please make sure you've watched that first. You're going to have some stuff done before we're ready to go today. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is share with you my Schoology classroom. And this is my sandbox. We're going to be working in our sandbox today. So what you'll notice is I've got several folders down here that I've created. Again, that Schoology crash course is going to teach you how to make all of these different folders. But what I did make is a back to school folder down here that says back to school, and then it has the dates. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is show you how to take a folder or an item out of your sandbox and actually start assigning it to the students. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this little cogwheel over here, and a couple of options are going to pop down. The one that we're going to look for is copy to course. This is the same button that you would use to take something out of a resource classroom or a resource group. So I'm going to go ahead and select that I want to copy it to my Bell 5 class. So it's going to give you the option to put it in a folder. I already have a folder in that class, and maybe you do too. You can go ahead and click that drop-down menu and choose a folder. In this case, I just want it to pop up on the home page, so I'm going to pick none. I'm going to go ahead, and if I wanted to, I could copy it to multiple classes. So I could pick both of my algebra classes if I wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and click copy folder. What that's going to do is it's going to send those two folders over to your course. Before it does, it's going to give you this confirmation message. We're just going to click copy folder and give it a minute to think and do what it needs to do. Once it reloads the page, we're going to go to those courses. So we're going to leave the sandbox course and we're going to go to that algebra bell that we added our folder to. And you'll notice that purple folder has popped up. It already have those day folders that we set up in the last video. So I'm going to look at day 1. This is Tuesday 9-8. That's our first day of school. Again, I'm going to use the cogwheel feature over here on the side. And I'm going to talk about how to publicize something, how to make it visible to the students. So we're going to go ahead and click edit. And we're going to go ahead and choose when we want the students to be able to see this. If a student logs in before the first day of school, I don't want them to be able to get to my materials until I am ready to assist them, ready for them to view them. So I'm going to go over here to the date, and I'm going to go ahead and pick 9-8. You can pick it on the calendar. You could type it in. If you wanted the assignment to go away, so for like a test or a quiz, maybe you only want it to appear on a single day, you can add an end date here, but I'm going to just leave it to appear on the 8th. You can also enter a time if you want it to appear at 8 o'clock in the morning or midnight or whatever. If you don't pick, it's just going to publicize at midnight. So right now it says availability. Right now this assignment is published. So if a student were to pop into my Schoology class, they would see this folder. What I'm going to do is drop down to publish on the start date. That's going to allow this assignment, this folder, to automatically publish on the 8th right away. I don't have to do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. What you'll notice is that that folder has kind of a gray box behind it, and it looks like it's muted a little bit. That means it's unpublished. You can always see down here, there's a little stop sign, little do not enter. It says unpublished. That means the students cannot see it. And it says it will be available after 9/8 at midnight. So that folder is going to go ahead and publish at midnight. You're going to do that for each of these independent folders on whichever days you want them to publicize. So I want this particular one to publish on the 9th, which is Wednesday. And then I'm going to go ahead and click availability, publish on start date. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes again. I'm not going to go through all of them here with you because I've got a couple of days set up here, but you would go through and unpublish all of them to publish on that start date. So now what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to move to our next topic, which is going to be student completion rules. So that's going to be in this options button. So I'm going to click options, student completion. And what this is going to do is it's going to require the students to move through your Schoology course in the order you decide. So in order for a student to move to the next day's folder, they have to complete the previous one. This is really great for my high school friends or anybody who wants to assign a homework. homework, you can force the student, they must submit their homework before they can view the homework answer key the next day. So right up here, it says requirements must be completed in sequential order. You do want to click that. That way students are required to finish day 1 before they can get to day 2. All right, so we're going to add a requirement by clicking this green plus button. And you'll notice it defaults to day 1, Tuesday, that day 1 folder. Students must complete that folder before they can go to the next thing. So the first thing they're going to do is the day 1 folder, and they must complete it. Now I'm going to go in here and click day 2, complete, day 3, complete, day 4, complete, and day 5, complete. And I actually have 6 days in this folder. So we'll go ahead and make sure all 6 days must be completed, and they must be completed in the order that I listed them. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And then that's going to bring up, this says this folder completion settings have been saved. And it's going to show right down here, it says must complete with a little green check. Okay, so now I've got 2 messages, must complete and unpublished available after this date. Once students see this, they are going to see that they can't go out of order. They're going to have to click on that day 1 folder, finish the day 1 folder before they finish the day 2 folder. There's a button right here that says student progress. I'm not going to click it because my students are slowly populating in Schoology today. So I want to keep their names and everything private. But as students start to complete these folders, it's going to give you a percentage, and it's going to say Delaney Bond is 12% of the way through this folder, or she's 10% of the way through the folder. If they have a green check, that means they have done everything they need to do and they are up to speed with what's published. So if I don't have anything published, they're going to default to a green check. As you start to publish things, you'll see what percentage they're on. That's a really great way to track your students' progress, see if they're falling behind, and you can catch them that way. So in order to finish this day 1 folder, we need to actually go back into the day 1 folder, and you'll see I've got a couple of different assignments for them in day 1. So in order for them to truly finish the day, we're going to click the student completion rules one more time. So we're going to do student completion rules within that folder. So we're going to click requirements must be completed in sequential order. Again, it's just like on the last screen. We're going to go ahead and add welcome to Schoology. That's that first page. Students must view that item. I want them to view my first page that says welcome and good morning. Then I'm going to go ahead and click the student navigation module because I want them to practice using Schoology, and I want them to complete that because it's a folder. The third thing I want them to do is locate the Zoom live meeting link, and the way that I'm going to do that is make them view it. And then the last thing for the day is going to be a discussion board. Now, this discussion board is really cool because one of the things that it's going to make them do, the member must post a comment or a reply. So that means that students are going to be required to make a comment before it's considered completed. So they can't just view it and skip it. They are going to be required to make a comment. You don't have to use that feature. You know, maybe the discussion board you want to use is type a question if you have one. So maybe they don't have to comment. So you can go ahead and just click view the item. You don't have to click post a comment reply. Mine's a get to know you. It's a silly one of what's your favorite flavor of ice cream. So I do want to know that because I want to get to know my students. So I am going to make it a required post. So I'm going to click save changes. And again, you'll notice that check mark appears for each of those items. So in order for the student to be completed through day 1, in order for them to call themselves ready and done with Tuesday, they must complete all 4 of these items. As they complete them, as they view them, or they complete the folder, or they make a comment or reply, the student is going to get a little green check here and say, yes, you've done this. Yes, you've done this. And then once they have all those green checks, when we go back to that unit folder, that day folder is going to turn green. So that's the student completion rules. Remember, if you see a green check for a student, that means they are up to speed with what's published. So for instance, if I only have day 1 published, they're going to get a green check if they finish all of day 1. As those items slowly start to publish, then they will get more and more green checks or not green checks. Our third topic for today is we're going to talk about our announcements versus updates. So for this, I'm going to go back to my sandbox. And if you notice, I have this cute picture of my Bitmoji classroom with some things to do today. So there's what they have to do, their to-do list here that says today, September 9th, 2020. So that's their to-do list. So the way that we're going to update our picture here, or this announcement, is we're going to go to updates. Now, there's two things that you can do. You can either do an announcement or an update. They're kind of similar, but also very different. So right in here is your update box. So we're going to type an update. I'm going to write, good morning, CPS teachers. Welcome to my sandbox. You can add your links. You can add your pictures, all that sort of stuff. You can make the font bigger or smaller. You can do all those things. I'll make it nice and bold so everybody can see it. And now what we're going to do, you could also use the microphone to make a video recording, or a video or an audio recording. So if you want to say a good morning message to your kids, anything like that, you can put it there. You could link them to your Zoom link. You could add a file. So maybe it's their notes for today, anything like that. This button that says copy, this is going to give you the opportunity to copy it to all of your courses. So maybe you want to put up a little video of you meet the teacher for back to school. Maybe you want to make it your Zoom link, anything like that. You can put that here, and we're going to click whichever courses we want to copy it to. I'm not going to copy this to my courses. This is just for my sandbox, so I'm not going to copy here. The important thing, right now, if I post this update, it's only going to show up in the Updates tab. In order for it to come up as an announcement, for it to come up like this on every page of their Schoology, you need to click this little messages button. It says like a little speech bubble with a plus. It's really small. We're going to click that and then click the bell. That's going to notify the students on every page that there is some kind of announcement. So we're going to go ahead and click Post. And that's going to change that picture up at the top. It says, good morning, CPS teachers. Welcome to my sandbox. All of your previous updates are going to save down here. So you can see I did a couple of tests and changed things as I figured out what I wanted it to look like. So all of those are going to save. Let's say you want to get rid of one. So this particular one, I don't want to be there anymore. I can go ahead and click the settings wheel and delete it. I can also go back and edit things. So maybe I realize, this one I should have put a period between good morning, CPS teachers, and welcome to my sandbox. So I can go back and I can change it, fix it, and it will fix it in the announcement. So if you notice, we've got that announcement right here at the top of the page. Whoops. And we can go to the materials page and we still have that announcement at the top. So this would be a great banner for you to put your to-do list for the day for the students, anything like that. You can update it very easily. You cannot schedule posts. So just keep that in mind. There's not a way to schedule an update. So I can't say at midnight it's going to change to tomorrow's objectives. You're going to have to manually go in every day and change those. But that's not the end of the world. All right, so our last thing that we want to talk about today is assigning things through the Google Drive and through Kami. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make an assignment. Again, we're going to click Add Materials, Add an Assignment. And I'm going to name this assignment. We'll call it Homework 1-1. You can put your directions here. So I'm just going to write the word directions. Fill in whatever directions that you may have. So there's going to be two buttons that will appear, either Google Drive Assignments or Kami. Google Drive Assignments is automatically going to appear in Schoology. You may not have the Kami button. The way that you're going to get Kami is by downloading and installing that Chrome extension. There's a link how to do that in the teacher toolkit on how to get the Kami extension. If you have any issues with that, contact your TIS. They can definitely help you with that. I'm not going to go into that because I think most computers have Kami already installed. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the Google Drive assignments. We're going to click Google Drive, and what you'll notice is it's going to come up with your most recent assignments. You could also go in and pick a different folder, what have you. I'm going to assign them this calculator check Google document. So I'm going to click Attach. And it's going to attach a Google Drive document. Now, what's great is if you notice it says this will create a copy of your file for each student. So if you want them to type something, it's going to create an individual Google document for them to type on. So when they submit it to you, you're going to get each student's separate. Okay, so that's a huge, awesome feature. It's similar to Google Classroom if you did that in the past. We can also add a due date. So let's say I'm going to make this assignment due on Friday the 11th. It's going to default to at midnight, so they have until 11:59 p.m. You can, of course, change that. Categories, right now it still says ungraded because we don't have a grading period. These Schoology courses are not active, so we don't have a grading period, but you can put those categories and periods in there. Right now it's just going to say training period until September 8th. Okay, so all of those features are just fine. Right now, there's a green button, a green circle. That means it's published to the students. That means it is live as soon as I click save. If you don't want it to be live, you can go ahead and unpublish it. And then we can go back in and when do we want it to publish. I'm going to go ahead and publish it so that way we can save it. If you want to copy it to your courses, you know this homework assignment is ready to roll. We can click copy to courses and select which courses we want to assign it to. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click create. Give it a second to think. And that assignment is going to populate. And you'll see that it's going to, if we click calculator check, it's going to take them into a Google document and they can type directly in Google Documents. I'm not going to go ahead and click it because there is some information on there that we don't need. Okay, so now we're going to go and assign from Kami this time. So I'm going to add an assignment. And just like we did with the Google Drive, we're going to click Kami. And this time with Kami, we are going to, you'll notice it also, you can click from your drive, pick whichever folder you want. It has a recent feature, which I love, love, love the recent features. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want to assign this All About Me PDF. So that's one of my SEL lessons for the beginning of the year. Again, it's going to look just the same. This is a PDF document this time instead of a Google Doc. It's going to create a copy of your file for each student, just like before. So we'll call this one Homework 1-4. Again, we can type the directions here, what have you. We can fill in all that same information. I'm not going to worry about all that now, but I am going to go ahead and create it. Whoops. It does make you select the ungraded for now. Again, once we have active courses, you can pick which category you want it to go to. All right, so now I've got this homework 1-4. I didn't put a due date on it yet. So what you'll notice is when we have this page, it looks a little bit different. The students will have the opportunity to just open the PDF, but what we want them to do is click that open assignment with Kami. Remember, remind the students, maybe you want to put that in your directions, to click the purple button, open with Kami. The Chromebooks, if they have a school Chromebook, it's going to have Kami already downloaded. If they are using a personal device, it won't, so you may have to walk them through how to download Kami. So we're going to go ahead and click open assignment with Kami. And what you'll notice is that this page, it's going to open another page. And you'll see this All About Me assignment that I'm going to give to my students. They have a couple of different features. So one of the features they have is this text box where they can just type hello, and they can type whatever words they want to anywhere on the screen. So maybe we want to put something else here. Some things that I like about school, I love math because that's so true about me. Once they put that, they can move it, so we can put it here. So the student can write on this worksheet just like if they were in my classroom. If they wanted to, they can also add a drawing. So if they wanted to say my name, which is Delaney, we'll write my name here. Oh, let's see if I can do this. It is a little bit cumbersome to use the drawing tool with a trackpad especially. So if a student has a mouse, they may be more successful. Oh, I'm not very good at this. But they can use that. There's all kinds of different colors they can write on things, et cetera, et cetera. That may be really good for the younger kids who aren't so good at typing, but I personally prefer the text boxes. You can also do all kinds of other things. There's an eraser here. So if you need to erase a little bit, it will erase that pencil mark. I'm going to go back and put my last letter there. Okay, so now let's pretend like I finished this assignment. It's ready to rock and roll. There's a button over here in the corner that says turn in. That's going to submit the assignment to the teacher. So once they click that turn in button, it's going to send a copy of it to me. If a student doesn't want to turn it in, they just want to save it, they can just see let me try this again. As they save, as they make changes, so I'm just going to put a U there, for instance, it'll automatically save it. It'll come up and say it's automatically saved. If a student has to exit out of this because they need to go to their next class, they can come back and pick up where they left off. So I'm going to go ahead and click turn in. It's going to say Delaney Bonds, all about me. It's a Cami PDF, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it in. They can also choose to save it without turning it in, but they do have the autosave feature turned on. So I'm going to click turn in. That means that that document is being sent to my teacher, and I am done. Now, it did come up and say I'm not able to turn it in because I'm the teacher, but the students wouldn't see that. So now that that assignment's done, they can go on to the next assignment, what have you. That's all that I have to talk about today. I've seen a lot of people sharing some awesome resources in the teacher toolkit. So if you're not in there, definitely share or definitely join that code. It can be very, very helpful for you. Remember, if you have any questions, reach out to your TIS. Otherwise, I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye-bye.